There are a lot of heavy hitters in the UFC, so I thought it would be a very good idea to go through every single weight class in the UFC and say who is the heaviest hitter in that weight category. To start off, we have the flyweight division, and I've had to go with Manal Cap. Now, obviously, there's not many heavy hitters in the flyweight division. They're all very small and don't possess much power at all. So I've had to go with Manal Cap. He has a fair few knockouts on his resume and has a couple of knockout wins in the UFC and has been able to drop a few opponents. If this was a few years ago, I would have gone with Davison Figueiredo, probably the heaviest hitter in flyweight history, but we're talking current day, so for me it's Manal Cap who's the heaviest hitter in the flyweight division. Moving up to the bantamweight division, we have Sugar Sean O'Malley. Again, another easy one. There's a few heavy hitters in the bantamweight division. You have Peter Yan, Chito Vera. You could say Adrian Yanez. I know he's lost like two in a row, but regardless, he hits quite hard. But Sugar Sean O'Malley, let's be honest, he is the heaviest hitter in that division. Again, Peter Yan a good shout, but for me, it's for 100% Sean O'Malley. I don't think there's any doubt at all. The amount of leverage he's able to create because of how lanky he is, how long he is for that division is just absolutely crazy. So for me, the heaviest hitter in the bantamweight division is Sean O'Malley. We then move on up to the featherweight division, and who else would it have been? It's got to be Josh Emmett. His last performance against Bryce Mitchell, horrible one-shot knockout against Bryce Mitchell, just put him to sleep. He has crazy knockout power. The only other people who come close is really Ilia Topuria. He has a lot of knockout power, but I wouldn't say as much as Josh Emmett. I know he was able to outclass Emmett, but I'd still say that Josh Emmett is the heaviest hitter in the featherweight division by quite a while. Even his knockout against Michael Johnson was absolutely crazy. So the heaviest hitter in the featherweight division has got to be Josh Emmett. We then move on to the lightweight division, and for me, the heaviest hitter in that division is Justin Gaethje. Now, you've got a few big heavy hitters in the lightweight division. You got Justin Gaethje, you got Dustin Poirier, you got Jalen Turner, Michael Chandler, Rafael Fiziev. There's a lot of big hitters in that division. You could even argue Charles Oliveira, as he was able to finish Justin Gaethje on the feet. Not on the feet, but he was able to drop him quite badly. But for me, it is Justin Gaethje. Maybe there was an argument for Prime McGregor, but unfortunately, Prime McGregor is no longer. Current day and age, it's got to be Justin Gaethje, in my opinion. Knocked out Dustin Poirier cold, knocked out Edson Barboza cold, James Vick cold. Bad example because every fucking knocked out James Vick. But regardless, you know what I mean? He has great knockout power, and for me, he's the heaviest hitter in the lightweight division. We then move on to the welterweight division, and quite an easy one, to be honest with you. Jeff Neal. I can't think of anyone else who hits as hard as Jeff Neal. I really can't. I'm really trying to think of someone, and I just can't. It's got to be Jeff Neal. Hands of steel. There's a reason why they call him that. When he absolutely fucked up Mike Perry, that was some crazy stuff. He was the first person to break Vicente Luque's chin. I know Buckley just finished him the other week, but Jeff Neal was the first one to ever put him away, and Luque had a godlike chin. He was landing big shots on Shavkat, and Shavkat did a great job of being able to eat those shots. But for me, hands of steel, Jeff Neal is the heaviest hitter in the welterweight division. We then move on up to the middleweight division, and I kind of think it has to be Jared Cannonier. I can't really think of anyone who hits as hard as Jared Cannonier. Now, I don't think he has too many knockout wins on his record. I can't really think of the last one. Maybe Derek Brunson, but who hasn't knocked out Derek Brunson, let's be honest now. I remember he knocked out David Branch years ago. Jack and Manson he was able to finish. But for me, it's got to be Jared Cannonier. Paulo Costa, maybe. But I'd still say that it's Jared Cannonier who hits the hardest in the middleweight division. We then have the light heavyweight division, and I think everyone would have guessed this one. It's Alex Pereira. Now, there is a fair few big hitters in the light heavyweight division. They're all big boys. But for me, it's Alex Pereira. You've got the likes of Jamal Hill, who hits really hard. Johnny Walker hits really hard. Jan Blachowicz hits really hard. Like, a lot of them do hit like a truck. But for me, it is Alex Pereira. Even Yuri Prohaska, his last opponent, hits like a fucking truck. But it's just Alex Pereira for me. Like, His left hook is just godlike. Just watch a compilation of it. It's just absolutely disgusting how much power he's able to generate, and sometimes it looks like he's not even trying to generate that much power, he's just able to. So for me, the light heavyweight hardest hitter is Alex Pereira, and then finally we have the heavyweight division, and it's got to be Derek Lewis. I can't really think of anyone else. Maybe there's an argument for Sergey Pavlovich, but I feel like with Pavlovich, he more overwhelms you with his power rather than just having flat out being the heaviest hitter, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he has a lot of power, but he's always in your face, walking you down. You know, he puts out a lot of output for an heavyweight very early on, and I think that's what's the intimidating part about Pavlovich, and really overwhelms his opponent. Whereas Derek Lewis, his balls are hot and he just fucking knocks your spark out cold. You know, against Volkov, it was a comeback win. He was able to time a perfect uppercut against Curtis Blades and knock him out cold. And Curtis Blades has a good chin, and Francis Ngannou wasn't able to knock out Curtis Blades cold, whereas Derek Lewis was able to do just that. So for me, it's an easy one at heavyweight. It's got to be Derek Lewis as the heaviest hitter in the heavyweight division. And those are the fighters I think hit the heaviest in each and every single weight class in the UFC division. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments who you think should be the heaviest hitter in each and every single weight class in the UFC. If you have liked the video, then please consider liking the video. And if you haven't already, please consider leaving a subscribe on my channel as I put out more MMA content.